Ethan sent a message to his fiancée, Sophia. You left me at the wedding, but luckily your sister Claire is beautiful and kind, and she married me. From now on, I'm your brother-in-law. This was because she had run away on the wedding day. Ethan stood there awkwardly, subjected to judgmental stares and whispers from friends and family. He finally got through to her that night. Sophia was drunk, repeating her first love's name over and over. Just before the call ended, Ethan clearly heard her first love, Julian's, voice. If I still loved you, could we get back together? In a brief silence, Sophia's single word, yes, completely shattered Ethan's psychological defenses. That was how his fiancée's sister ended up marrying him. I don't love you anymore, Sophia. Ethan threw away the glass jar, along with all the paper stars inside. When Sophia did something that made him happy, he would fold a little paper star and put it in. When the glass jar was full, he would marry her. When she did something that made him sad, he would throw away a paper star. When the glass jar was empty, he would leave Sophia. To marry Sophia sooner, he never dared to be petty. Even for small things like her turning off the light before bed, taking out the trash when she left, or finding shelter from the rain, he would fold several little paper stars and put them in the glass jar. For bigger things, like her not getting him a glass of water when he broke his leg, or snatching his phone during an argument and leaving him alone on the highway, he couldn't bear to throw away even one paper star from the glass jar. All this kindness he showed Sophia became her leverage to disappear on their wedding day and go find her first love, Julian. Ethan blocked Sophia. He ended this failed relationship and started planning a honeymoon trip with his new wife. Claire said they could go to the beach and collect shells, that the vastness of the ocean would make their worries and difficulties feel insignificant. Ethan knew she was saying this for his benefit. After consulting at a travel agency for a long time, Ethan was about to get up and leave when the door was pushed open. He saw Sophia walk in, arm in arm with Julian. The way they looked at each other was intense. Sophia, should we go see the ocean? Julian laughed loudly. Ethan wanted to pretend he didn't see them, but Sophia had already walked over. Slap! The sound was sharp. A burning pain spread across Ethan's face. He asked Sophia what the hell she was doing. Not only are you making fun of my sister, but you're also waiting here with ulterior motives? You just want to get back at me, don't you? Sophia's brows furrowed. Last night, Ethan had sent her a message. You left me at the wedding, but luckily your sister Claire is beautiful and kind and married me. From now on, I'm your brother-in-law. Running into him at the travel agency today, Sophia jumped to the conclusion that he was trying to get revenge on her for her absence from the wedding. His heart was dead towards her. He didn't want any more emotional entanglement. He turned and walked away without looking back. But Julian grabbed him. Julian was tall and handsome, with a constant smirk on his face, the kind of roguish charm that girls often liked. Ethan wasn't stupid. The mockery in Julian's eyes was clear when he looked at him. I'm sorry. I was diagnosed with late-stage cancer yesterday and only have a few days left to live. I was desperate and helpless when I called Sophia, which is why she missed your wedding yesterday, Julian explained. Sophia missing the wedding yesterday and accompanying him on a trip today were both because Sophia wanted to help Julian live without regrets before he died. Ethan shrugged with an indifferent attitude, as if it had nothing to do with him. You should have said so earlier. You and Sophia could have just gotten married yesterday and continued living without regrets. Everything for the wedding was already set up anyway. Sophia shoved Ethan hard, standing in front of Julian with a protective stance that looked like she wanted to swallow him whole. How can you be so petty? Ethan nodded, offering no rebuttal. He had thought that seeing Sophia again, he would be filled with grievances and resentment, or perhaps towering rage to unleash. But he didn't want any more emotional entanglements with his ex. He just wanted to move on and start a new life. Yeah, I think I'm petty too. So next time you see me, remember to respectfully call me brother-in-law instead of just slapping me. Ethan lit a cigarette and pushed open the door to leave. The air outside was fresh. Indeed, out of sight, out of mind. When the heart is calm, there is peace. Sophia stood frozen for a moment, then the sound of her high heels clattered as she hurried after him from behind. Her voice was filled with shock and intense questioning. What exactly is going on between you and my sister? Sophia was agitated, while Ethan remained calm. Their eyes met, and he let out a light laugh. After you ran away, the wedding still had to happen. Your sister saved me when I was desperate and helpless. Leaving that sentence hanging, Ethan brushed past Sophia, intending to leave. But she grabbed his wrist. Sophia's eyes widened with anger. I'm already stressed enough. Can you stop messing around? Why can't you just be reasonable like Julian? She probably thought he was still angry about her running away and didn't believe he had actually married her sister, assuming it was just a tactic to upset her. But she knew he was usually very easygoing. In the past, he wouldn't need Sophia to comfort him, he would comfort himself. When he saw her again, no matter how much he had been wronged, he would smile as if nothing had happened. Now he felt that all that one-sided kindness he had shown her before was truly disgusting. Then he forcefully shook off Sophia's hand. This completely enraged Sophia. She clenched her teeth tightly. Julian is a dying man. Can't you just bear with it for a few days? I'll have plenty of time to spend with you later. Ethan just thought Sophia was brainless and had told a hilarious joke. Is Sophia really that naive, believing everything Julian says? Not long ago, just a month ago, Julian claimed to have both depression and bipolar disorder and wanted to jump off a building. Sophia quit her job to take care of him full-time. Ethan knew that those few days were during the Qixi festival, Chinese Valentine's Day, and Julian was just using it as an excuse to be with Sophia. This cancer claim was the same trick. On the wedding day, he was diagnosed with cancer, couldn't have happened a day sooner or later. Besides, even if Julian was really sick, what did it have to do with Sophia? Seeing Ethan's silence, Sophia's voice grew colder, her eyes filled with disdain and disgust. I'm already this angry. How long are you going to wait before you apologize to me? Ethan looked calmly at Sophia. Apologize to you? Don't be ridiculous. You've changed, you're cold and ugly. You're not the person who said you'd love me forever anymore. Julian and I are just ordinary friends, why can't you understand that? Sophia's eyes turned red, and tears welled up. Ethan didn't rush to wipe away her tears and hold her like before. Instead, he scoffed, ordinary friends? Yesterday, on what should have been a joyous day, Sophia ran away. Last night, Julian posted on social media. The photo showed Sophia wearing a white shirt, forehead slightly sweaty, hand-washing men's underwear. Julian's caption read, "One pair of hands, one pair of underwear, filled with your deep affection and care for me." Ethan knew without a doubt that this was Julian, the victor, deliberately mocking and playing with him. But Ethan had already let go of Sophia, so why would he feel hurt or pained? He just found them both disgusting. He was about to leave a sarcastic comment when the post was quickly deleted. Sophia cried pathetically, wanting him to comfort her like in the past. She thought he would be like a dog, wagging its tail for a bone. But he wasn't. He chose to ignore her, leaving her only with his retreating back. Sophia became furious and called Claire with a tearful voice. Sister, where are you? Some jerk says you married him. Ethan walked on the street, smoking cigarette after cigarette, heading home only when he was tired. He got a call from Sophia saying Julian had no one to take care of him and wanted to bring him to the new house. Her tone was cold, not a discussion but a unilateral announcement. Startled, Ethan ran home as fast as he could. The new house was the one they had bought as their marital home, but Ethan had never lived in it for a single day. Now Sophia and Julian wanted to move in, claiming it was to make it easier for her to take care of the sick Julian. Sophia had the key to the front door. Ethan had given it to her himself. Julian, this place is closest to a major regional hospital. If you feel unwell, you can be taken for treatment right away. I'll take good care of you, and no one can stop me. Sophia said this just as Ethan arrived. He found the wedding house filled with large and small boxes. They had already moved Julian's luggage in, and the workers had just left. The wedding photo of Ethan and Sophia on the wall was glaringly obvious. Ethan took a deep breath, walked over, and took down the wedding photo. That's much better. He felt like the marriage certificate should have been thrown in the trash long ago. Julian offered a feigned apology. I'm sorry, I also feel it's inappropriate to move in, it's affecting your and Sophia's newlywed life. Cough cough. Mid-sentence, he broke into a violent cough. Ethan was furious. He pushed Julian out the door, then bent down to move the boxes outside, wanting both of them and their things far away from his house. What are you doing now? Can't you stop acting like my sister? She actually said she registered our marriage and got married to you. Sophia came over to block him, looking very angry. Ethan could tell that Claire had definitely reprimanded Sophia and informed her about the fact that Claire married him after Sophia ran away. Sophia completely disbelieved it, thinking it was just Ethan's way of getting revenge. Sophia reached out and pulled Julian back into the wedding house. Then she turned and cursed him viciously. Julian is dying of cancer, can't you show some sympathy? Ethan pushed Sophia away. This is my house. Why should Julian move in? At this point, Julian deliberately coughed violently, making Sophia's face turn pale with worry, tears welling up in her eyes. The situation was spiraling out of control. Sophia tightened her grip on their wedding photo and smashed it on the ground. The glass on the frame shattered into cracks. She thought she could hurt him with this, but Ethan had already let go and didn't love her anymore, so why would he feel sad or wronged? Is Julian that important to you? Ethan stared at Sophia, his voice calm. Sophia's cold voice rang out. Yes, he's very important. How dare you push Julian? You have to apologize to him, or this isn't over. Ethan thought she was being absurd. You mean I have to apologize to him? Don't even think about it. You're dreaming in broad daylight. Julian's passive-aggressive voice came through. It's all my fault for causing you to argue. I should just die and not bother anyone. This tactic was effective. Sophia's heart seemed to break with sympathy, and she stumbled, almost falling. Sophia glared at Ethan and laid down a threat. You'd better think carefully. We haven't registered our marriage yet. If you obediently apologize to Julian, I can pretend nothing happened. That made Ethan laugh. Right, the original plan was to hold the wedding first, then go register the marriage certificate. But on the wedding day, she disappeared and cut off contact, turning around to find her first love. Fortunately, Claire was beautiful and kind. She not only wore the wedding dress and went through with the ceremony with Ethan but also registered their marriage. For the sake of his wife, Ethan suppressed his anger, afraid he might do something impulsive like scatter their ashes. Don't think you can threaten me with marriage. I've already registered my marriage with your sister. Ethan didn't hide this fact. It wasn't something to be ashamed of. Sophia sneered. You and my sister? How is that possible? If you want to get back at me, can't you come up with a better plan? Just as she said, Claire had fair skin and long, wavy hair like seaweed. She was an ice queen type beauty, difficult to approach, and had never had a boyfriend. Claire and Ethan had no real interaction in their daily lives, let alone a relationship. Although Ethan was also confused about why Claire would marry him and register their marriage, he could find the answers later. The urgent matter now was to completely cut ties with Sophia. Only by doing that could he start a new life with his new wife. Ethan looked at Sophia with complex emotions. If I don't apologize to Julian, are you really not going to register our marriage? Sophia didn't hesitate at all. Yes. Ethan heard the answer and wasn't surprised at all. He smiled and shook his head. Seeing his grim expression, Sophia frowned, realizing she shouldn't have said such harsh words in anger. Ethan frowned. I just don't understand why you and your sister are so different. She's beautiful as a goddess, and you're like a clown. Just as Sophia was about to explain, Julian stepped closer. I thought you liked Sophia so much. Now it seems you don't care that much if you're saying you registered your marriage with another woman just to piss her off. Julian's voice was passive-aggressive again. You can bully me all you want, but you can't bully Sophia. Even if I'm dying, I, Julian, will protect Sophia. This truly angered Ethan. This was his house, and they dared to come here and bully him. He swung his fist and punched Julian hard in the nose. Almost instinctively, Sophia rushed forward, shielding Julian with her body. Ethan never hit women. He pulled Sophia away and his fist landed squarely on Julian. Julian fell to the ground, landing on the shattered wedding photo. The broken glass cut several gashes on his hands, even tearing flesh. Sophia covered her eyes in horror, but Julian's eyes held even more triumph as he looked at Ethan. Ethan knew Julian's plan. The more miserable he appeared, the greater the misunderstanding between Ethan and Sophia would become, leading to hatred for Ethan and love for Julian. But Ethan didn't love Sophia anymore, so why did they keep pushing him again and again? In college, Sophia played the piano beautifully and was undeniably the campus beauty. Ethan pursued her relentlessly. Everyone knew Sophia had a persistent admirer. Ethan never thought of himself as a licking dog, a term for someone who is overly subservient in love. Instead, he believed charging for love was courageous. Deep affection was never something to be ashamed of. Just as he was courageous back then, when Sophia running away from the wedding hit his bottom line, he decisively chose to let go and stop loving her, cutting ties completely. Otherwise, it would be a betrayal of his new wife. Ethan panted. "Get out! This is my home. I married your sister, we registered our marriage, and you have nothing to do with me anymore." Sophia picked up her phone and called Claire. "Sister, where are you? I know you're mad at me for being impulsive, but Julian is sick, and I have to take care of him. Can you please stop colluding with that jerk to get back at me? I'll register our marriage with him later." Claire's clear, cold voice came from the other end. "He's not a jerk. He's my husband, the man I registered my marriage with and got married to." Sophia was frantic, running her hands wildly through her hair until it was a mess like a bird's nest. Claire paused for a moment, then continued. "I posted our marriage certificate on social media. You can take a look. From now on, he's your brother-in-law." Sophia gasped. "What did you say?" Then she looked at Ethan in disbelief. Claire's final words before hanging up were, "You ran away from the wedding. I couldn't bear to see him desperate and helpless. My husband will be cherished by me from now on." Ethan took out his phone and opened his social media feed. Claire had posted a public update. It was a series of photos on social media, including the marriage certificate, a photo of Claire and Ethan together, and various happy pictures from the wedding. The caption read, "We shine in front of the camera. These wedding photos are a testament to the beginning of our love and the warmest memories after promising to grow old together." Sophia also took out her phone and saw the post. Unlike Ethan, her eyes were filled with utter disbelief after the huge shock. "It's actually true." Sophia staggered towards Ethan, looking pathetic. You don't want me anymore?" Ethan suddenly pushed her hand away forcefully. "Stop with the fake sincerity, it's disgusting." Sophia tried to hug him, but he dodged her, and she collapsed onto the floor, helpless, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, I know I was wrong." Ethan's expression was cold. He pointed towards the door. "Get out, both you and Julian. I've told you multiple times that you have nothing to do with me, but you keep thinking I'm trying to get back at you." He looked at Sophia, emphasizing every word. "This is my and your sister's wedding house." Sophia and Julian finally left. Ethan cleaned up the mess on the floor. When he turned to grab the broom, he saw the wedding photo shattered into pieces. Out with the old, in with the new. He threw the wedding photo along with the trash into the trash can downstairs. In the following days, Ethan went to work as usual, and nothing seemed to have changed. While waiting for the bus, a car pulled over. The window rolled down, and Sophia was inside. Seeing him, she smiled awkwardly. "Come on, get in. I made a table full of food. It's all your favorites, crayfish, oysters, sea cucumber." Ethan's face was expressionless. "I'm allergic to seafood. That's not what I like." Sophia's smile faded in embarrassment. Ethan turned and walked to the other side of the bus stop. He had been worked like a dog at the office all day and wasn't in the mood or need to deal with this trouble anymore. Sophia got out of the car and chased after him. She lowered her tone. "Does your hand still hurt?" Ethan took a deep breath. "Your sister is waiting for me at home. Please don't bother me anymore. From now on, we'll go our separate ways." Let's not have any more emotional entanglement. I'm tired and can't handle you anymore. Sophia started crying right there, repeatedly saying she was sorry. Ethan didn't think he was particularly capable, but he was willing to treat his woman with the utmost sincerity. But he had already let go and didn't love Sophia anymore, yet she was pursuing him and causing trouble. She was clearly crazy. Just then, his phone rang. It was Julian. Sophia glanced at Ethan, then hung up the phone to show her resolve. Ethan asked, puzzled, "Why didn't you answer?" Sophia wiped away her tears and grinned at him. "I promise I'll never contact Julian again." Ethan looked at her, their eyes meeting for several seconds. It was the first time he had seen Sophia like this. In their relationship, he had always been the one giving the most. Now, in a strange reversal, she was showing him effort. But he was already married to her sister, and he wasn't willing to waste even a shred of emotion on Sophia now. Having no contact with his ex was the greatest sense of security he could give his new wife. What if Julian's condition is serious, or he wants to jump off a building again? Ethan scoffed. He could see Sophia panicking. Her eyes darted away, and her expression changed multiple times. She timidly asked, could you wait for me to take a call? Saying that, she went back to the car to talk to Julian. Within a few minutes, Sophia finished the call and rushed over, saying Julian had an emergency and she had to go help him. She also promised to make it up to him next time. Ethan ignored her completely, not saying a word, and got on the bus when it arrived. Back home, he saw Claire. Even though they were husband and wife, he still felt a bit awkward. Things had moved so fast, and he hadn't fully adjusted. Claire was no longer an ice queen, she was very warm. It felt a little surreal. Sophia's sister had become his new wife. Late at night, as Ethan and Claire were sleeping soundly, the phone rang again and again. It was Sophia, calling from someone else's phone. "Come to the bar. Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to all my friends in front of them." Ethan rubbed his aching head. He felt annoyed and restless. "Are you crazy? Why would I go?" Sophia's voice came from the other end. "No matter where I am or who I'm with, I've never mentioned you. Now, I'm announcing it to the world. I love you, I love you, I love you the most." Listening to her drunken rambling, Ethan worriedly glanced at the person next to him. Thankfully, Claire was sleeping deeply. Otherwise, how could he face his new wife? He then spoke harshly to Sophia. "Get lost." He decisively turned off his phone. Sophia had taken Ethan's deep affection for granted, treating him like a. She had never publicly acknowledged their relationship. Instead, everyone around her mistakenly believed she and Julian were the loving couple. For so many years, he had been hidden. He had once yearned for unwavering affirmation, but now he didn't care anymore. It wasn't that important. His wife, Claire, was able to post their wedding photos on social media immediately. That alone showed the difference between the two sisters. Ethan saw Sophia again when she accompanied Julian to the hospital for a dressing change. Julian had been quite seriously injured by Ethan. At the hospital outpatient department, Ethan had just bought birth control pills when he turned around and saw Sophia running towards him. Her face was flushed, and she was out of breath, as if afraid she'd lose him if she blinked. Her first words upon seeing him were, "You deliberately came here to meet me, didn't you? I knew you still had feelings for me." Ethan was speechless. It's a coincidence. Sophia didn't take his indifference seriously. She seemed happy to see him, stubbornly believing it was a planned encounter. "Marriage rules aren't as strict now. You can divorce my sister, and we can register our marriage right away." Hearing Sophia's insane suggestion, Ethan was stunned. How could she possibly have such a terrible idea? He cut her off directly. "Sophia, it's impossible for us." Given how things were, if he wasn't sincere with Claire and instead continued to string Sophia along, trying to have two relationships, he would be lower than a beast, someone who wanted everything. Sophia was terrifyingly stubborn. Instead of backing down, she became even more determined. She stared at Ethan, vowing word by word, "I'm yours in life, your ghost in death. This life, I'm stuck with you, we can't be separated." Ethan shrugged, giving her his firm stance. You won't succeed. Julian hadn't seen Sophia for a while and finally came looking for her, looking somewhat angry as he saw Ethan and Sophia together. Julian's words were sharp and pointed. You've broken Sophia's heart, and you're still bothering her? How many wives do you want? Ethan gave this clown a cold look and turned to leave. Julian chased after him. Can we talk alone? Ethan wanted to see what kind of garbage he would spew. They walked to a spot by the window in the hallway, where no one else was around, and stopped. Julian provocatively stated, without hesitation, I like Sophia. You absolutely have no chance. Just give up. Ethan smiled and wanted to light a cigarette but decided against it since they were in a hospital. It's not me who's shamelessly clinging on now, it's Sophia who still has feelings for me. Instantly, Julian's face changed. He ground his teeth in hatred. The situation was exactly as Ethan described, this was reality, and Julian couldn't deceive himself. He retorted, so what? Everyone knows you were only a dog can't change its ways. Ethan smiled. He didn't want to argue, it was pointless. Has anyone ever told you that you're worse than a dog? Julian became furious. He raised his voice, boasting incessantly. Don't act tough. Before, when I faked illness, Sophia was very caring. Now, when I'm faking cancer, she'll be even better to me. Ethan wasn't surprised to hear about Julian faking illness. The first time he met Julian, he saw the greed, possessiveness, and ill intentions in his eyes towards Sophia. However, none of this mattered to him anymore. He turned and left. At the hospital entrance, a crowd had gathered. Sophia's expression was agitated when she saw Ethan. She knelt on the ground, pleading for him to marry her. Please, let's get back together. As long as we both want to, any problem can be solved. I want to be your wife. It was a hot summer day, and the ground temperature outside reached a staggering 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Sophia knelt, and soon her knees were bleeding. She was drenched in sweat. Especially with her pitiable eyes and tearful, heartbroken appearance, she was incredibly effective at evoking sympathy. In the past, Ethan would have felt sorry for her. But now, forget it. What happened to her was none of his business. Suddenly, Julian behind him feigned a headache, dramatically collapsing to the ground. He pointedly said, it hurts so much. I'm dying. His voice was loud, attracting everyone's attention, including Sophia. Sophia stopped begging for forgiveness and quickly got up, rushing towards Julian, afraid something bad would happen. She glared at Ethan, furious. Are you sick? Can't you stand to see Julian? And here I was asking you to get back together. Ethan understood that Sophia thought he had hit Julian again. Julian, at the appropriate moment, put tears in his eyes, looking wronged. Sophia, don't blame him. I'm just too useless. This sick body, my bones feel like they'll fall apart with a gust of wind. Ethan immediately took out his phone, started recording, and held it close to Sophia, making sure she would clearly hear Julian say faking illness. Sophia's face grew even paler. She turned and glared at Julian in disbelief. Julian tried to explain, but Sophia raised her hand and slapped him hard. The sound was crisp and loud. Why did you have to ruin my happiness? Sophia clawed at Julian's face. Ethan sneered repeatedly. He didn't care who lived or died among them and pushed through the crowd to leave. Later, he heard from Claire that Sophia was filmed and the video was uploaded online, her embarrassing situation becoming public knowledge. Julian was even more affected by the public opinion and online mobs. He was fired from his job, and even security guard positions wouldn't hire him because of his bad reputation. No one wanted to keep him. Sophia also stopped dealing with Julian. This led to Julian developing severe depression. He had previously talked about jumping off a building, and those words became a grim reality. He died on the day Sophia told Ethan she loved him. Suddenly, Sophia, who had walked away, collapsed to the ground in a mental breakdown, sobbing uncontrollably. All the guests looked over, whispering and gossiping about everything. Ethan walked over and offered her a tissue. Noticing the increasing number of eyes on them, including his father-in-law, mother-in-law, and Claire, he lowered his voice. Let's go somewhere else to cry. This isn't the place. His father-in-law and mother-in-law walked over. Can we talk? Ethan nodded and followed them into a private room. He found Claire was already there, waiting. She beckoned him, and he sat beside her. Sophia also tried to sit down but was sharply reprimanded by her mother-in-law. You stand! Sophia was startled. Why? His father-in-law, who didn't speak much, looked at Sophia with disdain, as if he didn't even want to look at his younger daughter. His mother-in-law scoffed. Even though our family isn't from a traditional scholarly background, we know what a respectable family that values tradition and integrity means. Do you realize how much trouble your willfulness has caused? Ethan was slightly surprised. He turned to look at Claire beside him. Claire smiled at him, indicating he should not worry. Whether due to parental pressure or genuine realization of her mistakes, Sophia looked at Ethan, bent down, and admitted her wrong. I'm sorry, brother-in-law. Everyone in the room was intelligent. Some things didn't need to be stated too explicitly. Ethan wasn't foolish. He understood that his father-in-law and mother-in-law were making Sophia apologize for running away from the wedding. It didn't really matter anymore. His relationship with Claire, Sophia's sister, was stable, and they would walk forward happily together. That was the most important thing. Ethan had asked Claire, why, after Sophia ran away that day, were you willing to put on the wedding dress and marry me? Claire pinched his cheek, a bright smile on her face. In this world, many things have an order of priority. I actually saw how much you liked Sophia and how much you sacrificed for her. I forgot when exactly I started liking you. Ethan was shocked, unable to react for a long time. Claire's tone was a little proud. When you were desperate and helpless, I bravely stepped forward. Otherwise, I would regret it for the rest of my life. Ethan opened his mouth, finding his throat tight now. He felt he owed her too much. Claire sensed his emotional shift. Although you always didn't look back at me, at least we ended up together. So, can you be happy now? Ethan was touched again. He had thought she married him out of pity to help him, never realizing that Claire's love for him had been full all along. Claire stood on her tiptoes and kissed him. She smiled and said, "You're clearly such a wonderful person, but someone wasted your affection. I will definitely cherish this opportunity, or I'd regret it forever if someone else snatched you away." Ethan's voice choked up. Can I hug you? This feeling, like something lost and then found, was a gift from heaven. Claire paused, slightly surprised. I'm your wife. You can do more than just hug me. She had also prepared a surprise for him. The glass jar with paper stars that he had thrown away had been picked up by Claire. She treasured it like a precious artifact. The difference was, there was now another glass jar. The second glass jar was filled with little paper stars Claire had folded for him. He heard her say, paper stars and little paper stars. I hope you are wrapped in full love. Husband, you are my most precious treasure. Ethan was emotionally overwhelmed and hugged Claire tightly. In the past, he thought the love story in A Chinese Odyssey was good. But now, he felt the love story between Marshal Tian and the spider demon was also good. After all, not everyone is supreme treasure, liked by many girls. So he was like Pixie, only in the eyes of the right person, he was Marshal Tian. The end.